like we have seen ki very first chapter when we were discussing ki how exactly cloud are going to help us out, right? They are going to provide you some computer resources and they are much more cheaper. So you was not investing the so much upfront cost for the cloud, but still you are supposed to take some upfront, you are supposed to invest some upfront cost, which is nothing but the taking the reserve instances or taking the pay as you go model for on a monthly basis. You are supposed to choose which kind of subscription you're looking for. So anyhow, anyway, you are investing, but you may think in this way ki, maybe right now I'm not investing much, but while I will start using them, it will be much more costly to me. So this also, you are supposed to have the visibility for which service you are going to charge in what way. Okay, in the previous days, if you think about the on-premises infrastructure, means things were running 24/7, but in terms of the Azure or in terms of the any cloud computing, you're not supposed to charge for the 24/7 kind of model. You're supposed to charge for the consumption based on the minutes, based on the hours kind of stuff, right? So that kind of visibility you are supposed to have. How exactly you can thought of the I will migrate my on premises to the cloud, or how exactly how it will be costly to me, how exactly I can maintain on it, how exactly it will be much not much more costly to me, how exactly it will fit into my budget. That's why this module is here to tell you okay, how exactly you are going to have the advantage. Even once you are fine and with the pricing model, definitely you will have the concern about the support, how exactly I'm going to get the support, right? Which kind of plan I'm going to take, how exactly I'm going to take the support. So that kind of information also we are going to see. So we have seen about the Azure subscription. Azure subscription, we have seen it's nothing but the billing unit. We are usually see we are paying the bill on a monthly basis. The same thing is billing unit. For choosing any source or creating any source, we are first of all choosing the subscription, then choosing the resource group, and then having the resource, and simply active working on that particular subscription. So we also have seen user have access to one or more subscription based on the different roles and requirements, right? We also have seen all resources consumed via the subscription will be billed to the owner. So it is all about like maybe so many sources are there, those sources are maybe utilized by the so many peoples, but it's totally depend on who is the owner of that particular subscription. Bill will be sent to them. Like same situation, you have the internet connection in your house, maybe you have taken the internet connection from your name. Even all family members are going to use the internet connection, but definitely bill will come on your name, and maybe you are not paying the bill price, maybe it is going to be reimbursed as part of your company. So this is the same kind of case is going to be happen in terms of the cloud as well. Subscription is going to be bear by the company, and company is going to pay for it, but you are going to use them, right? Okay, can be used to organize the sources into the completely distinct accounts. So right, so what is happening, like you are not supposed to have the multiple account, you are supposed to have single account, or you can have a couple of subscription based on the people's, right? And you cannot have the cross subscription, means you cannot have the subscription across the account. You can have multiple subscription within a single account, but it's not like single subscription will work for the multiple account. That is another thing, right? And one more thing here, key, you are going to get the environment kind of stuff. Okay, each and every subscription is going to behave like an individual account. So that is the advantage we are going to observe here. We also have seen yesterday key, we can have single account which may have different kind of group of peoples, maybe the HR people or finance people or the marketing people. Which kind of subscription we having, we can simply have the resources available as part of the subscription, and we can simply track who is consuming how much and how exactly I can utilize them in a much more better way to have much more less cost effective way. Okay, so management group, we also have seen like we discussed like one particular group can have two subscriptions. So it's all about depend on the requirement, what is the exact requirement we having, right? Now we are talking about the purchasing of the Azure product and services. So there are two ways are there. First is pay as you go. So I'll clearly explain ki pay as you go, you will go for like you are some practitioner person, or you are some trainer person, you are would like to explore the things, or would like to start some basic product from your own. In that way you can go for the pay as you go model. Whenever you have the client who having the agreement with you for next 2 to 3 years, in that case you can go for the enterprise agreement. One of the best advantage with the enterprise agreement, it is going to have near to 60% discount, and you are going to first of all decide key how much you would like to spend as part of the month, yearly basis, and what kind of resources you need and how much quantity you need. So based on that, things are going to be negotiated, right? Hmm. Now if I talk about here, so you are going to purchase from the Microsoft partner, which is nothing but the cloud solution provider. Okay, so what about the free account? Pre-account means whenever you are going to enter this URL, which is known as the azure.microsoft.com or portal.azure.com, you are going to have this portal. You can enroll yourself. So first of all, it's free, but you are supposed to provide your credit card or debit card information and your entire address information there. 2 rupees are going to be deducted and it is going to refund it again to cross verify your account has been activated. You are going to get alert in 3 to 5 days in advance. Your account is going to be expired, but it's up to you. You would like to continue or you would like to not continue with it, but they are not going to deduct the money without any explicitly action taken by your side. Even if you have not taken the action also, they are not going to deduct your money. So that is for the safer side. What exactly you are going to get? You are going to have the $200 credit in your account for the first 30 days. So whatever practice you would like to do, whatever the services you would like to utilize, but you are supposed to know which service is going to charge in what way. If I talk about the Bastion host, which is also known as the jump server, so this is the one of the most expensive service if I talk about, right? That is majorly used by the admin kind of work only by the administrator. So that kind of services you can use and it is going to charge you, but you are supposed to have the credit and your credit is going to be utilized. So this is the facility we are going to get. What else we are going to get? Even you are opening the what to say account and you are having the $200 for 30 days only, but still some of the services will be available free of cost for 2 months, 12 months only after that, and some of the 25 services are always lifetime free. So no need to know which service are lifetime free, no need to know which particular services will be free for the what to say for the 12 months. Just you are supposed to know what are things you are going to get once you will open the Azure account. So we know we are going to get $200, we are going to get a 30 for the 30 days. So this basic information we are supposed to have. Definitely they are going to ask how exactly what amount you are going to get as part of your Azure account, right? Now if I talk about which kind of factors are going to affect the cost, okay, so it's depend on the different kind of services are going to be built on different kind of factors. Okay, so if I talk about a lambda function, in the very beginning when I was talking to you guys, I clear cut told you guys this kind of applications are going to have what, this kind of applications are going to charge you based on the consumption model or based on the execution model in terms of the Azure function, right? If I talk about some other facilities, maybe the virtual machine, they are going to charge you based on the hours, right? So some other free services are there, like if I talk about the Azure functions are also going to be free for you, but for certain amount of executions. Maybe if I talk about the 10,000 executions are free of cost, but after that it is going to be charged you. Okay, so like this they have clear cut mentioned as part of their website which services will be free of cost. So we are able to see like creation of the resource group is always free, creation of the virtual network till 50 is always free, load balancer is free. With the basic load balancer you are not going to have the next level of configuration as part of load balancer. Basic active directory functionalities are also free. The network security groups and free tier web apps up to 10. So you are able to see the numbering system also. Okay, what are the basic features you are going to get and what are, how many numbers of virtual machine you are going to get, that are the free. Free means in terms of the account, in terms of the resource creation, but resource utilization it is going to charge you because it is going to charge you based on the execution. It's based on the how much amount of time they are running. So creation is free, but once you will start using them, once it's up and running, definitely it is going to have the OPEX kind of expenses, not the CAPEX expenses, right? So that is the advantage here. Now come to here. So this is nothing but we are able to see some any kind of a diagram here which is just let us know like how exactly things are going to work out. Kilowatt minimum is how much energy is being used, how exactly things are going to be happen. That is not much related to here. So first of all we are talking about the consumption model. So pay per uses, that kind of consumption model is very famous and it is applicable in most of the services. Okay, so how exactly this model is applicable, how exactly in this case, so you can see the opportunity for the cost saving like Azure functions. So I told you it's work on the execution, right? How many time it is going to execute. It's not like 10,000, it's 1 million, means 10 lakh executions are free per month. This is the free of cost, means free of cost services you are going to have, like 10 lakhs execution, which is 1 million executions are free per month you are going to have. But if in a month if you are going to have more than 1 million execution, it is going to be charge you. How exactly it is going to charge you? It is going to charge you 0.2 $20, $0.02 to means $20 per million execution. Means again if you are going to have the execution on a millions way, right, it is going to charge you this much. So it's a very cheap actually. If I say, I told you ki they are pushing platform as a service which is much more cheaper to us because they are using in very wide varieties way. Okay, so this is the advantage here. If I talk about the virtual machine, they are saying the cheapest virtual machine is the $20 per month. What do you mean by cheapest? Means you are going to use the free OS, which is the Linux OS. You are going to use almost of the things free, not premium hard disk, not very extensive what is network security system, all the things, basic services. So one of the basic things, if you are going to check, very basic extents type, maybe one CPU or 2 GB of RAM only, or 1 GB of RAM only, then that way the virtual machine is going to be very cheaper for you. Now come to the pay per usage services. Which services are going to be come under the pay per usage? If I talk about, we clear cut discuss this if I talk pay per execution is going to be applicable in terms of the Azure function, but Azure function don't work pay as you go model, or what to say pay per usage, it not work, it's work pay per execution actually Azure function. But pay per usage is work according to where exactly. So pay per usage, I say the services like Azure functions are there. So usage means it's all about the utilization. So but not exactly Azure functions, having some more other services are there which we are talking about here. So services using you are doing, but using in terms of the execution. If I talk about like logic apps are there, storage are there, storage per GB. So even if I talk about in Azure, I have not seen like means it is going to charge you based on the storage. What kind of storage means even your virtual machine is stopped, but still your memory is attached with your virtual machine. So you have some data stored in the storage because of your virtual machine have generated some data. You have not killed your virtual machine, you have stopped your virtual machine, right? Even you are stopping your laptop, but you are still hard disk having some data. The same kind of thing is going to be happen. So in terms of the storage, you are going to charge pay per GB. Okay, pay per GB. Outbound bandwidth means you are going to transfer your data from your on premises to the cloud. So on premises to the cloud is free, but from cloud to other region is expensive. Okay, how exactly? Let me tell you the very visibility. Suppose I have on premises data. If I'm transferring to the cloud, it's free. Incoming is free always. In the cloud, incoming is free, but outgoing is going to be paid. Like you are getting the incoming call free of cost, but outgoing is paid for you. But outgoing in what way? If I talk about the Geo example, let me talk about the Geo example. Geo to Geo unlimited free. There is no charge. The same thing is going to be happen in terms of the availability zones. If you are going to transfer the data from one availability zone to another availability zone, it's a free of cost. But whenever you're transferring the data from one region to another region, like you're calling from Geo to the Airtel, it is going to be too costly for you. So that kind of costly from one region to another region is going to be happen. The outbound bandwidth means data transfer kind of stuff. Okay. If I talk about the cognitive services APIs, means you're going to have the API related to the artificial intelligence, right? Where you are reading the data, where you are recognizing the images, where speech recognition is there. So those APIs are there. With the help of that, you are going to develop your services. So those kind of functions and services, those kind of things are going to be utilized as pay per usage system. Okay, now come to the pay per time. Pay per time is you are going to pay for each and every second basis. Okay, so pay per second billing means the billing stops when your virtual machine is stopped. So guys, that just you do need to remember, actually virtual machine, if you are using with Windows system, and virtual machine you are using with Linux system, having the different category. Okay, how exactly? Even one of the question I have observed when I was just helping the people to go through the practice papers, like in the Windows servers, if you are utilizing more than 1 second or 2 seconds, it is going to be covered maybe in the terms of the hours in the previous days, but now it is coming as per the second. So virtual machines depend on which kind of OS you have gone through and which kind of configuration you have chosen, it is going to be charged. So if I talking about here the pay per time means for each and every second you are going to pay for the billing based system. Okay, so even I hope so whenever I gone through this particular scenario very deep down, dig into the AWS where the Windows having some problem, and those Windows kind of stuff in terms of the AWS, they are going to charge for the hour, not for a second. But if I talk about Azure here, Azure is the product of Microsoft itself, and Windows also the product of the Microsoft. That's why they are ready to accept if you are using for 1 second also, we are going to charge you for 1 second. Otherwise, in terms of the AWS, I have seen somewhere if you're using 1 second extra, outside of that minute, maybe 61 minute if I'm talking about, right? It's more than 1 minute, is 1 second extra. It is going to charge for the hour basis. So that kind of situation you will see in a future, different kind of scenario based question. But here it's simply talking about your billing is going to be stopped if you are going to use for the you are going to stop the virtual machine for that particular second, right? So per second billing means billing is stopped when the virtual machine is stopped. Okay. Now come about the stability of the pricing. Okay. Stability of the pricing. What do you mean by stability of the pricing? How exactly you can have the pricing stable? So pay a fixed price per month for the computing power, the storage capacity, whether you use it or not use it. Discount for 1 to 3 years. Commitment in the virtual machine, which is nothing but the reserve instances and multi-tenant or isolated environment. Okay, what do you mean by this? Stability means pricing. It means you already know how much computing resource you need entire year basis. Okay, how much it is going to be available for the entire month. How exactly you can recognize this thing? Very simple. You have different kind of services which are provided by the Azure. Pricing calculator is there, total cost of ownership service is there. So those kind of services are going to help you out to identify how much resources are supposed to be utilized, how much it will be sufficient for you. So you can, you know, okay, I would like to go for the multi-tenant, means you are sharing the hardware sources. Single tenant means you are not sharing the hardware sources. Isolated environment includes what? The same thing is talking about single tenancy. Okay, so this is the advantage. So whenever you have all the things in your mind, whenever you know you would like to have the fixed type of instance, you would like to have the simple type of virtual machine, maybe only Windows or maybe only Linux, or you would like to have the certain amount of capacity which you need throughout the year, when you know everything in advance, acceptable. It's, I'm not saying 100% perfectly fine. Maybe in most of case 99% cases your requirement is getting fulfilled from the reserve instances, but in maybe 1% time percent chances are there you would like to depend on the on-demand instances. On-demand means it is going to be much more costly for you. It is going to be very much costly for you whenever you're asking for them at last moment, right? So just forget about the on-demand, but I'm saying whatever you have assumed, if your assumptions are 80% also working out, that will be much more cost effective for you if you are going to reserve them for 1 to 3 years in a commitment, right? You are going to have the 66% discount. So this is the advantage here. So even you're using the storage or not using the storage, still you are paying for them. The same thing. Even you have taken the car on a rent, or you have taken the laptop on a rent, or you have taken the house on a rent, but you are staying in the house or not staying in the house, still you are supposed to pay for it. The same thing is going to be happen in terms of the cloud computing as well. So this is nothing but the capex, initial investment you are going to do. So capex is going to be applicable, but once you will utilize them, then opex is going to be happen. Are you getting my point?
Yes, Lucky. Yes, yes. Hello?
Any question this till this point of time?
Lucky, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Okay, okay. Because I'm facing too many internet connectivity
Oh,
issues today. I'm not sure. I'm trying to call them out.
okay, okay. No problem. You recording it there. Recording will have actual means proper voice. You know, so you can refer to it and you can let me know. Okay, let's proceed. So what about the bandwidth? Pay for the bandwidth. What do you mean by pay for the bandwidth? Means uh, how much you are going to use. Bandwidth is nothing but the internet speed. It's not like internet speed. It's about the data transfer. Whenever I talk about the bandwidth, it's about the data transfer. So what is the data transfer? Now you're transferring the data from one region to another region. So 5 GB is free, but inbound data is always free. So देखो till first 5 GB. Let me tell you another example. Very simple. I'm transferring my data from on premises to the cloud. That is always totally free. There is no money. It's incoming. Cloud is getting the data. So it's free, totally free. Even I given you the example, you are getting the call totally free. That is incoming. And cloud, why cloud is giving that free incoming? Because anyhow anyway data is coming to the cloud. But whenever you have decided now your data is supposed to be transferred from cloud to the on premises, so you are entering into the zoo free of cost, but whenever you're going outside of the zoo, you are going to be charged, right? The same thing you can understand in this scenario. Incoming is always free, but outgoing is going to be paid. Okay, how much outgoing is going to be free? Outgoing also some extent is free. Outgoing, okay, means you're transferring the data. That is 5 GB only. First 5 GB is free. After the 5 GB, you're going to be the get charge for it, right? Okay, how exactly you are going to be get charged? First of all, you are supposed to understand. So you cannot say कि I'm always going to be charged for certain amount, fixed amount. No, guys, I already told you very clearly as part of first or second chapter, whichever region you are and how exactly the density of the users are there. Density means how frequently users are using the cloud services. We have discussed about the economy of scale. What do you mean by economy of scale? Purchasing single laptop may be much more costly to you instead of purchasing 50 laptop in a one go. So you are going to get huge amount of discount. The same thing is going to be happen if Microsoft having much more regions in your geography. It is going to be much more less costly to you. The same thing is going to be happen in terms of the regions. Each and every region having different outbound what to say or different pricing model. If I talk about, right, so availability zone pricing is different. Even you can observe here like pricing model is also different for each and every stuff, right? So that is if you talk about the Australia or what to say the uh, Germany or Asia, each and every region is having different kind of what to say pricing model. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so one PB means petabyte of data transfer is equal to $50,000 there. They are talking about this much amount. It is going to charge you if you are going to use such kind of stuff. So it's all about depend on then. Okay, now what about the zones for the billing purposes? What is the region? If I talk about the zones is nothing but the availability zone. Okay, so zone is the geographical grouping of the Azure regions for the billing purpose. Now they are not talking about the availability zone. They are talking about now you have the regions. See, I already told you if you are transferring the data between the availability zone, it is going to be the free of cost. Like you are calling Geo to Geo, it's free of cost. But if you are calling to Geo to other network, it is going to be the paid. The same thing is going to be happen. They have given some naming convention. You have the geography. Geography is Asia geography. In Asia geography, suppose I am having three availability zones as part of the India. Suppose I'm transferring the data from Mumbai region to the South region or South region to the West region, it is going to charge. So they are going to have some much more transparency as part of the billing. That's why they have grouping the stuff, right? So John is a geographical grouping of the Azure regions for the billing purpose. Okay, so if I talk about the John 1, they are saying in the John 1 we have thought of United States, Europe, Canada, UK, France. This those people will be there. As part of the John 2, we may think about the Asia Pacific, Japan, Australia, India, and Korea will be there. Why exactly they are talking about the John 2, or why exactly they are doing like this? Because see, geography is so much big. If I talk about John 2, see, Asia Pacific means you can think about the China, you can think about the Japan, you can think about the Australia. Even Australia don't come as part of the Asia. Australia is totally different country, totally different Pradeep is there, right? So we know about it, but still they have decided into the John. So in this way, it is going to be much more helpful for them to track the money kind of stuff. Like Korea also don't come as part of your Asia part, right? So they have decided to have the grouping of the things so we can have much more visibility in terms of the pricing model for their convenience, for your visibility purpose only this. John through Brazil South. So there is no need to know all those stuffs. That's fine. Just for understanding purpose. Now come to the pricing calculator. Pricing calculator is one of the best tool. With the help of that, you are going to get to know which kind of virtual machine you are going to choose, which kind of OS you are going to choose, which kind of extent tab you are going to choose, which kind of storage you are going to choose, which kind of networking you are going to choose, and how much it is going to cost you. So this is the separate services there. You can simply go through this URL, you can identify, you can look into the services, and you can estimate the things. So estimate are hard to make 100% accurate. Why exactly 100% accurate? Because see, you may have chosen the things in the standard way, but region wise things are getting changed. If I talk about the one region, maybe south region, you may checking the pricing model. Okay, maybe the resources. So resources also a bit different. Okay, the resource is not same as part of the single region as part of other region. Forget about the region. If I talk about the account, even one account don't have the same kind of source in other account. So you don't have the similar kind of account across the clouds. Okay, each and everything is different, and it is not going to be 100%, but yeah, there is a chance of that you are going to have the much more very near about the pricing things like 98%, 99%, 96%. It depends on which region you are going to have the thing. So you are going to have the calculation. Now come to the configuration options. Okay, so like we have the regions, we have the tiers. Tiers means what kind of plan you have chosen, right? You have the subscription type, like I told you, pay-as-you-go subscription, enterprise subscription, support option you are going to get as part of your planning, right? Plans, whatever you're going to take. And day one testing pricing. Why exactly we're talking about the day one testing pricing? Because such kind of instances which we are going to use as part of the day one test environment are going to be less costly to you because they are not highly available. If they goes down also, that's fine for us, right? And that is much more cheaper to us. That's why the advantage is there. So let's see what are the things we are able to see. Export and share the estimates. Okay. And total cost of ownership. So here what I'm trying to talk about here, how exactly I can identify the export and just share of estimate. Means I'm just trying to transfer my entire thing from on premises to the cloud. That kind of things we will understand as part of the total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership is different from the price calculator. Price calculator is going to give you the rough idea. Okay, how exactly you are going to have the service going to cost you. Like I told you, you are trying to get the virtual machine, trying to have the instance type, trying to have the OS, trying to have the networking, trying to have the storage. It's the standard way. But what comes under the pricing ownership? Ownership means migration services. If I talk about, you are migrating your database from on premises to the cloud, right? So migration services, you cannot directly migrate the things, right? You are supposed to migrate with the help of cloud. You are not simply moving the data. You cannot simply move the data, right? You are supposed to have the uh, proper functionality moved towards the cloud. So that kind of migration services are coming to the picture. That will let you know how exactly it is going to cost you. The cost of the service is more than just the cost of the hardware. So this is the actuality, guys. Yeah, so that kind of information you are going to have as part of what total cost of ownership. Hardware means I'm just talking not about talking about the storage part. Like you are trying to have totally up and running server, your services are up and running. That kind of visibility you are going to have from the total cost of ownership. So the cost of the server is much more than the just cost of the hardware. So we are not talking about only hardware. We are talking about the entire server which is going to be configured as part of our requirement, right? So what are the other costs it is going to be bear to us? Like if we talk about the electricity or the cooling or internet connectivity, rack space, setup level, maintenance level, or the backup. So those are not our headache, but all the things are going to be covered as part of our regions, right? Or what to say, from the Azure side. So that information also you are going to get how exactly you are going to be charged for those peoples. Again, you having this URL, you can simply hit this URL and you will get to know about the total cost of ownership calculator. Okay. Okay, now how exactly you can reduce your what to say cost? How exactly you can do the best way to utilize the Azure resources, which will be much more cost effective to you. So you are supposed to know the best practices. Okay, like if I talk about the Azure Advisor cost tab with there. So I told you, okay, like Azure is giving you so much amount of recommendations, right? If you are going to follow their recommendation, which kind of thing you are supposed to use, which kind of thing you are not supposed to use. If I talk about like your services are not utilizing all the time, right? You can simply shut them down, right? If some storage are going to be charged, even your application is not up and running, if there is no need of that storage or data, better to release that particular storage, right? If I talk about you are supposed to use some perfect instance type, if there is really use of that particular stance, right, then only you take the high intensity stance. If I talk about the gaming performance or some graphical extensive work, that kind of storage you are supposed to go. If there is no use of that kind of type, then that definitely go for the general purpose storage. So Azure Advisor there, which is going to help you out to follow the recommendation in terms of the cost. Auto shutdown on the day when QA server. Definitely we know we are supposed to use the dev or QA servers for the 8 hours only. We are working for 8 hours only. So there is an option to have the auto shutdown option, but there is no auto start option. Okay, auto start option is not there because you are supposed to start from your side. We don't never know if people are coming on time in the office and always be available into the office and then going to have the things. It's not like this. So there's an auto shutdown option at there. Like after 8 hours, after 9 hours of time, you can have the auto shutdown of your resources. You can utilize them in a much more cost effective way. That's why we are discussing about the day and QA resources. Okay, utilize the cooling and archive storage where it's possible. What do you mean by cool and archive? Suppose some of the or database servers are up and running all the time, so those are the much more costly to you. But sometimes your data is not being utilized, with data is not much more frequently used, and you are supposed to have the backup your data like portable hard disk, right? My hard disk right now utilizing as part of my laptop, so hard disk is having the much more, what to say, or SSD having the much more cost effective thing. But if I could say about some portable hard disk I having, if I'm going to transfer my data there, the portable hard disk is going to be used whenever I will insert as part of my laptop. Otherwise my data is being recovered or backup as part of the archival. So we have different kind of storage, not only the simple storage which is attached to the system. It's like some additional storage are there which is known as the archive storage, which are very less costly to you. Okay, because they are not up and running all the time. Whenever you need them you can have your data, but it is going to take much more time to have the recovery of your data, to have the transfer of your data and to the actual server. So that kind of information you will get to know as part of the architect level knowledge. Yeah. So some of the reserve instances, I always try to have the use of the reserve instances instead of go for on-demand instances, because I told you the reserve instance is nothing but the enterprise subscription which you have taken 1 to 3 years, and it is going to be much more cost effective to you because you are going to have the 66% discount and going to use them for the certain amount of time, right? So reserve instances are much more cheaper in compared to the on-demand instances. Okay. Configure the alerts when the billing exceed to the expected levels. Yeah, so you can configure the budget. You can get the alerts whenever resources are going out of the budget, right? That kind of alerts you can configure as part of the Azure Monitor, and you have the notification hub services also there. So whenever the budget is exceeding, you are going to have the alert. Okay, your budget has been exceeded and you are not supposed to proceed further, right? So it is going to be stopped and you are going to get the alerts. Okay. Use the policy restrict access to the certain expensive resources. So I told you some of the services are so much expensive. So you can have the policy where you are going to restrict the users. Okay, don't use this resource. This resource is so much expensive. Like talk about the Bastion host. Don't use the Bastion host. So much expensive, right? So those kind of access you can restrict, even it's administrator also, but still the policy is going to be applied and that administrator will not be able to access the Bastion host, right? Those kind of policy you can configure. Auto scaling resources, so whenever traffic is high then have more number of servers, whenever traffic is less have less number of servers. So just I'm letting you know what are the best practices to have the less number of less costly to you, right, resources. So auto scaling is there. Downsize your resources over the provision. Downsize means, what do you mean by? I'm just talking about like instead of taking very high capacity resource, better to have the low level resources over the provision. Means you are trying to have the more number of resources created, so better to downsize that. Okay, if I'm talking about, suppose you are trying to have the 9 resources which having the maximum capacity, and you have observed there are no 9 servers are up and running most of the cases whenever traffic is high. So just try to reduce them to the 7 or the 8, whatever you will understanding with this is the highest thing it is achieving. So your resources are not going to be best, right? So that's why it's like over the provisioned, right? Ensure that every resource has the owner tag. So why actually tag is being applied, I given you the understanding about the tag. Let me give you the again. Tag is very simple. Suppose you are going to the airport and you are going to have the luggage. Your luggage is not going to be transferred along with you as part of your aeroplane, because it is going to consume lots of space. So they are applying some tag on your baggage, and your baggage is going to be sent over the air, means by the same plane but not along with you. It is going to be kept in other space, other place of the aeroplane, and once you will reach the airport you can have your bag again. But how exactly they will recognize that this is the same bag which you have given to them, or this is the same bag which you are supposed to receive? So you are going to have the tag. In that tag your name is written there, so you will identify, okay, this bag belongs to me. The same thing is going to be happen in terms of the Azure also. You are supposed to know which resource is consuming how much, right? You are supposed to know which is consuming much, which is consuming the less. So in this way, if you are going to apply the tag on those resources, you will get to know, okay, this particular person consuming a lot, okay, because of this only my billing is so much high, right? So that kind of tag is going to help you out. Okay, now come to the Azure cost management, how exactly cost can be managed. Okay guys, till this point of time things was very easy, that's why I was explained in a very fast manner. Anybody having any question right now here, just let me know. Mushi, Ria, Babho, any question here? Are you able to hear me?
Like,
No, please.
to be frankly speaking, I said that I'm having a network issues. I'm able to hear your voice sometimes, and sometimes it's completely breaking out. I will
Okay.
refer the recording. Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's fine. You can let me know by tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow so we can go through the things again if you're not having visibility. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now talk about the Azure cost management. So we are going to see how exactly we can going to manage the cost. So okay. So another free tool inside the Azure for analyze the spending. So how exactly your resource are spending the money, right? How exactly the things are being spent. If you have observed, if you're using the credit card, then you are going to have the CRED application possibly. The CRED application going to let you know how exactly you are spending the money. You are spending the money on the food. You are spending the money on the e-commerce website. You are spending the money on the what to say other places, right? Offline market, online market, shopping, or what to say other things, right? Fuel, right? Or different categories of the things. How exactly you are spending the money. So that kind of analysis kind of stuff you can observe. Okay, how the things are being utilized. Okay, this is the another free tool. It's a free only. It's not going to charge anything for you, but it is going to analyze the thing. So even if you observe in the SBI also, they are simply letting you know where exactly you are spending, right? So that kind of information you're going to get from here. So this is the cost analysis tools. Very simply, it is going to tell you, okay, see, this much is has been spent for the storage, this much has been spent for the virtual machine, this much has been spent for the networking or maybe for the data services. So you can see resource location also, and what are do you mean by group names, right? So you're able to see how much it is going to cost you. So this is the advantage. We are going to have the analysis over the resources. So maybe if I will identify, okay, I did so much amount of shopping over the e-commerce website, so I will try to control myself and will try to have less number of shopping, because I observe I'm spending a lot over the uh, online website, right? Or I can see, okay, I have spent so much amount of money in the food, so I'm supposed to control it because I'm spending a lot, and which I have not observed while using it, but when I have seen the summary I am able to observe it, right? So that kind of thing you are going to have analysis. Okay, now analyze the spending over the time. Okay, tracking against the budgets. So yeah, this is again going to help you out. If you are going to have analysis, you will understand, okay, this much budget you have kept for the processing purpose, this much budget you have kept for the storage purpose, this much budget you have kept for the networking purpose, yeah, or maybe for security kind of services purpose. So you will understand, you will be able to track where exactly your budget is being utilized. Okay, now come to the scheduled reports. What do you mean by scheduled reports? Like you are going to have the generation of the reports, so you are going to have the updates. Okay, you are going to have the alerts, like you are getting the bank statement end of the month every time, right? So you are going to have the observe there, where exactly how much has been spent, which has been credited, which has been debited, right? And do you have any kind of such kind of transaction which you have not utilized, so you can raise the fraud request also. Okay, okay, this is not supposed to be used by me and this is supposed to be used by someone else, like because of that only I'm has been charged, right? So that kind of situation is supposed not to be there. So that information you're going to get. Okay, support plans. Now we are going to discuss about support plans. One of the most important thing to understand, there are 5 support plans are available as part of the Azure basic support plan, which is you are going to get as part of the free plan. So free included all the plans means basic plan. Okay, so basic plan means I discussed about the Azure Active Directory or discuss about the cost analysis tools. Those are the free basic plan. If I talk about the developer, so developer plan means those are the plans which are going to help you out to support you in terms of the business working hours only, right? Not going to work for 24/7. So that is for the non-production kind of environment. So something goes wrong in the business hours only, then we are going to help you out, but very late amount of response is there. Within 8 hours they are going to respond. Suppose you have raised the request your dev servers are not working as part of the Azure, so maybe they are going to respond to you within 8 hours, not immediately. So that kind of things you're going to observe as part of the standard developer plan. Okay, developer plan. Now come to the standard plan. Standard plan is going to help you out for the production environment, because they are up and running all the time. So possibly they may respond you after 4 hours, after 3 hours, after 5 hours. It depends on the which kind of plans you are looking for. Come to the professional diet and premier. So professional diet are going to help you out to have the response less than 1 hour. Okay, professional diet, business critical, less than 1 hour they are going to respond you. Okay, yeah, your services are goes down and Microsoft is going to help you to recover. And if I talk about the premier, it is less than 15 minutes, not within 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes, within 15 minutes of time they are going to respond you. So like premier plans, if I talk about the premier plans, they are going to help you out to understand the architecture, how exactly you are supposed to have the architecture applied as part of your Azure resources, which are going to give you much more high availability and much more recovery kind of things, right? So those are the plans are available. Definitely, you are going to have the question: how many plans are there as part of the Azure, and which plan is going to help you in what way, right? So that kind of information. But just do remember, the professional diet is going to help you out to have the response less than 1 hour. This is one question, and the premier is going to help you out to respond within less than 15 minutes. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, less than 15 minutes. Okay, so very near to 15 minutes, but not exactly 15 minutes. So that is the premier plan. So now we are going to understand what exactly features you are going to get as part of the basic plan. Like it's a self kind of support. Nobody is going to help you out. Nobody going to respond you because it's a basic or free plan. Okay, so like you are going to have the self help support. Like you can try to have the help of your side by reading the documents, or you have some recommendation using the Azure advisor, or you can have some health service dashboard or the health API, which is going to let you know which services having which kind of health. This is the basic information which is supposed to be taken, which is supposed to be referred from your side as part of the basic plan. Microsoft will never respond you, will never help you for the basic plan. If I come to the developer plan, yeah, developer plan means business asks access to the support engineer via mail. Means you can simply send them to mail. In the business side, you can let them know what is the problem with you, right? What is the problem with the sources. So unlimited contact will be there, but the problem is here like case severity C, non-business critical, means it is like a not going to be considered as a very high severity, right? It is like a normal thing only because it's a dev or UAT server, dev or test servers only. Okay, so it's even saying 1 day response time less than 8 hours. General architecture guidance, like they are saying they are going to respond you less than 8 hours, but not immediately. Okay, so suppose you have raised the request maybe in 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the night, so you can have the response from their side in over a mail maybe less than 8 hours. So this is the developer support you are going to have, and it is going to charge you, which is the maybe standard amount, you can say a minimum amount, you can say like $29 per month. So you are going to also have some basic guidance as part of the architecture, not the recommend, not the much more visibility about it, like simple. So this is the developer plan. If I talk about, come to the standard plan. A standard plan is very good. Like you can talk about, they are going to help you out to have the 24/7 support from their engineer. You can contact them not only by mail, you can contact them by phone as well. Yeah, you have unlimited contact in the cases. It is also the severity support. Okay, where you are going to have like three kind of levels. Okay, severity C will be considered like less than 8 hours, severity B will be considered like less than 4 hours, and severity A is considered like less than 1 hour. General purpose architecture, again guidance, it's like $100 per month it is going to charge you. So like you may know, if you have gone through the production support, you may know about the SLA, service level agreement. So which kind of severity you have taken. If I talk about my project, when I was working as a production support person, my application was the least severe, right? Least severe application. So they are responding means in the one of the last, because whenever they don't have other application which having the higher severity than me, then only they are going to respond to me. So like this, you are going to choose the severity, which kind of severity you are going to take. That kind of label response we are going to give you as part of the standard support. Okay, come to the professional support. In the professional support, again you are going to have much more advantage, like they are going to support you 24/7 in the phone and email. They are going to have unlimited contact, unlimited cases. Again, the severity is there, which is less than 8 hours, less than 4 hours, less than 1 hour. But here the next level of thing is the architecture guidance will be there, but best practices, which is the best practice you can use as part of the architecture guideline. Okay, onboarding and consultant, you are going to get delivery manager, you are going to assign dedicated delivery manager, right? So if I talk about, whenever you have taken the bank account from any bank, and you are going to have the a special what to say, the manager will be assigned to you. The same thing is going to be happen in terms of the professional director, right? So you are going to choose which is you are going to go, but it is going to cost you so much, which is like $1,000 per month. Now come to the premier. Premier also having the severity levels, but it is having one more advantage, which is less than 15 minutes advantage, which I was talking about. The same thing, You can ask for the support phone, over the mail, you can ask over the you can contact them, you can have the severity, and even the severity level, age less than 1 hour, less than 15 minutes. And now it is going to have the much more architecture specific support, right? So specific architecture support such as design reviews, performance tuning, etc. Okay, technical account manager, and the including the service reviews, reportings, on demand trainings, and contact us. So this is the one of the best advantages part of the premier support. If I talk about, you can discuss them about the architecture, you can have the architecture review, whatever the architecture you have prepared, whatever the technical things you are facing, or whatever the technical problems are there, how exactly we can help you out in technically, all those things you are going to get the premier support. So those are the plans about the premier. Yeah, you can even contact them, you can have this kind of tab like help and support, you can simply contact them based on the what kind of plan you having, and definitely they are going to help you out there. You can raise the ticket, you can track the ticket, you can monitor the things, right? So these are the plans are here, you can see. Suppose I have the basic plan, so you can check your plan, which are the plans you having. Okay, you can upgrade your plan also. Like you may see, if I clicked on that button, if I clicked on this button, then I'm going to check which support I having. Okay, and which kind of subscription model I am working on it. Like I am on the pay as you go and I have taken the basic plan only, then this much only I'm going to have. But if I would like to have the next level of support, that I can upgrade my plan and I can proceed further. It's all depend on the your business requirement and criticality. Okay, so you can open a support ticket. Okay, and you can have the type of the thing, like which is the type of the issue. Okay, while creating the support ticket, you can let them know you are facing the issue related to what, right? So if you read here, the create a support request to get the assistance with the billing, subscription, technical cost management issues. Okay, complete the basic tab and the selecting the options for the best describe your problem, and providing details accurate information can help you solve the issues faster. Looking for the old experience, click here. Okay, maybe you are facing the same kind of issue, maybe someone else has been faced. So by going through the FAQs, you can identify, okay, I can look into this, I can work on this, and it is going to help me out. So this kind of thing you can observe. Okay, available support channels, so you can there are only two channels are there. One channel is like a call, and the channel is like a email. Okay, email kind of support you can have uh, from the developer plan itself. Okay, knowledge center, you have can have the knowledge center, you can get to know much more about the Microsoft from this particular channel. If you see here, you are going to get to know about that what kind of problems you was facing. Okay, and maybe this problem somebody else has been faced, and now you are supposed to get that thing or idea, right? So maybe your SQL queries are running slow over the DB, so how exactly you can look into this. Some other popular questions are there, how exactly you can rectify from your own level. So this portal is going to help you out to identify the most frequently problem. You may heard about like someone working for the L1 support. So L1 support people are doing what, they are trying to identify the new problem which is scam as part of the mail, and they are going to identify if this problem has been faced by someone else in the past or not. If they have faced in the past, they are going to refer it, and they are going to give you the same kind of response. Suppose this kind of problem has not been faced, maybe they are going for L2 or maybe going for L3. It's all depend on which kind of problems are you are facing or based on the criticality, right? So this kind of information you're going to have, right? Suppose I'm talking about how can I troubleshoot issue with my new virtual machine deployment. So service level agreement, so we are going to discuss about the service level agreement tomorrow, because already it's 11:30. Yeah, so we are going to let you know, and I'm going to let you know about the preview features, and this way our fourth chapter will be done. So tomorrow, not tomorrow exactly, we are going to discuss on Monday. Okay, so meanwhile just try to have the things properly from your side, try to go through the content whatever we have discussed till this point of time. If you look into this like this is the PPT available with us, where we can see how the things are communicating with each other, how the things are getting working out together, right? So we are going to discuss about all those stuff, right? So let's look into it tomorrow, maybe on Monday. Yeah, and like this our chapter will be done. So this is the thing we are going to see. So